Hi everyone, welcome to part 1 of the Easter C.A.L for Flopsy the bunny. So, I am going to show you what you will need today for this part. It is a 3-part series. So, yeah, we are going to make this little guy here. Alright, so for today, you are going to need whatever weight yarn, whether it's 3 or 4 weight. I have a blue 3 weight I'm going to be using. You will need 3 stitch markers of some sort. You're going to need a darning needle or yarn needle. You'll need a pair of scissors. If you're using a 3 weight, I would recommend a 4mm hook. You will also need one of the safety noses and a pair of 9mm safety eyes. You will also need some polyfill stuffing. You'll definitely need more than that. That's just to represent what you need. You'll need 3 bags, and these are 3 inches by 2 inches. And you'll need 3 of them with either rice beans in them, or rice or beans in them. You will also need just a piece of scrap yarn of some sort for the mouth. And if you need to, you need a row counter to keep track, and possibly a pencil and some plastic canvas. Now, you'll just need a very small piece, and that will go on the inside, on the bottom, to make it flat. So, what we'll do is when we get to that part is you take the canvas, your pen, and you will trace around the bottom. But we will get to that. So those are the items that you will need today. And this is the biggest part of the tutorials. It will be the longest one probably because the body is so tall and it's made in one piece. You start down here at the bottom, work your way up, decreasing, and then increase to make the head. So, it's the biggest piece. So, yeah. Alright, so get your supplies and let's get started. Alright, before we start, I just want to say I normally do my amigurumi in joined rounds. You can work in continuous rounds if you're more comfortable or don't like joined rounds. Just make sure you mark your first stitch of the round while working each row and or each round when you're doing continuous rounds. I will try to put the timestamps in the description box and in the pinned comment. I will also have a row counter that I will mark at the beginning of each row. So, also, there are 2 types of decreases you can do. So when we get to the first area of decreasing, I will show both of those. In case you want to do something different than what I do. Okay, so now for round 1, we are going to start with a magic ring. And I'm going to show you how to do that in case you are not familiar with it. So what I normally do is I take the tail end and pinch with my finger and thumb, turn my fingers, and I wrap, pull it in front, and then cross over, and then grab it with my ring finger. I take my hook, go under the front yarn, grab the second one, and pull it out, twist it, and then grab this yarn your working yarn, and then pull it through. Now what I normally like to do, because if I just crochet the single crochets now, it makes this too tight. It makes the first stitch too tight. So I yarn over and I chain one loosely. That is not going to count as anything. But that's how I do my magic ring. If you do it different, feel free to do so. All right, so we're going to start off with 5 single crochets into the magic ring. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now usually these little strands are crossed like that. I like to uncross them and then pull closed. Bring that tail downward. This is where I'm going to join. So that was our chain 1 right here. This is your first stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I am going to slip stitch into the first one. Now this is a trick I like to do. I pull that slip stitch real tight, bring my yarn back, and then chain 1, and then tighten down that chain 1. And then it's not, it doesn't stand out as a stitch. It won't get confused as a stitch. All right, so that's round 1. Round 2, we're going to put 2 single crochets in each stitch. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Your last stitch, 9, and 10. So you should have 10 stitches around. We're going to slip stitch into that first one, tighten, and chain 1. All right. Round 3, we're going to put 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and then 2 single crochets in the second stitch. So that's what we're going to repeat around 1 in the next, and then 2 in the next stitch. One, and then 2. 1, and then 2. Last 2 stitches, 1, and 2. So you should have 15 stitches for this round. For round 3, slip stitch, chain 1, round 4. All right, so it's going to be very similar for the next couple of rows. You're just going to increase by 1 stitch before the increase. So this round is going to be 1 in the first stitch. Now, just in case you're not sure about what the first stitch is, you can see your slip stitch in chain 1 right there. That first little space is your first stitch, so that's where you go. Alright, so we're going to do 1 single in the first, 1 single in the second, and 2 singles in the third. So it's going to repeat over a course of 3 stitches each time. So it's going to be 1, 1, and then an increase. 1 in the next stitch, 1 in the next, and then 2 in the next. I'll do that one more time and then I'll let you finish it by yourself. 1, 1 in the next, and then 2. Alright, so at the end of round 4, you should have 20 stitches. We're going to begin round 5. Alright, so this round 5, is going to be 1 single crochet in the first 3 stitches and then 2 in the next. And 3, and then 2 in the next. Alright, again, 1 single crochet in the next 3, 2 and 3, and then 2 in the next. And that's what you're going to repeat around. 1 single in over 3 stitches, and then 2 in the next. Okay, so for round 5, you should have had 25 stitches. We're going to start round 6. And round 6 is 1 single crochet in the first 4. And then 2 in the next. One single crochet in the first 4. And then 2 in the next. And that's what you're going to repeat. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 2 in the next. Alright, at the end of round 6, you should have 30 stitches. Round 7, we are going to do 1 single crochet in the first 5 stitches and then 2 in the next. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then 2 in the next. Again, 1 single in the first 5, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now 2 in the next. And that's what we're going to repeat around. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then an increase. 2 in the next. I'm just going to go ahead and finish this row out. 3, 4, 5, and then 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and the last stitch gets 2. Slip stitch, chain 1. Alright, so round 7 you should have 35 stitches now. Round 8 we are going to be doing something different. Something different by we are going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch, but in the back loop only. So this, the front of your work, this is the front loop, and back here is the back loop. So we are going to crochet in the back loops. And at the end of this round, you should still only have 35 stitches. So you're gonna want to go into it like that. And yes, it's gonna look kind of odd, but it will make the piece curve upward like this. It'll fold it to go upward. I can definitely say this rabbit is going to be a lot smaller than the pink Flopsy. So it will be interesting. They were both designed with 3 weight, but I think this is more thinner than a normal 3 that I'm using, because this is definitely a lot smaller in size. But it won't matter, because some of y'all might be using 4 weight yarn. Oop, that did not catch all of it. Okay. Now slip stitch. Still should have 35 stitches. Alright, so as you can see, it gives it a little ridge, but it will sit, and this edge will come upward like that. Alright, moving on. Now we will need the plastic canvas. We are not going to put it in just yet, but we are going to trace the circle that we need. Alright, so since this piece will not lay flat, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my crocheted piece underneath, and you'll kind of be able to see where that ridge is. Not this outside, but the ridge on the inside. Kind of trace a little on the inside of that. So you'll want to hold your piece down and kind of just lightly, you know, draw a circle around. And then cut out your little piece. When cutting this out, do not use good scissors. So if you have certain scissors that you use specifically for yarn, do not use those. It will dull your scissors. Alright, so now this is where we're going to make any adjustments to this little piece. So we're going to lay it on the inside and fold this little edge up to see if it's going to fit. If it's anywhere that it's not sitting right or whatever, you just kind of trim it up just a tad. We'd rather it be kind of small instead of, you know, making it kind of wonky. And that's going to be good for me. So we don't need to put this in right now because we won't be able to crochet with it. So put this to the side somewhere safe, and we will continue on crocheting. Alright, so round 9 and 10 is going to be one single crochet in each stitch around. And you should still have 35 stitches by the end of 9 and 10. Alright, so I have reached the end of round 9, sorry. End of round 9. Go ahead and do round 10, and I'll meet you for round 11. Alright, so we have come to round 11. We're going to start increasing again, and we are going to do 1 single crochet in the first 4 stitches and 2 in the next. So 1 single in the first 4, and then 2. So this will repeat over a course of 5 stitches, which you do it 5 times. So 2, 3, and 4, and then 2 in the next. Again, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 2 in the next. Alright, I will meet you at the end. Alright, at the end of round 11, you should have 42 stitches. Alright, we're going to start row 12, and row 12, round 12 is just 1 single crochet in every stitch. And so you're just going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch around. And I'll meet you for row 13. Alright, round 13. I think this is going to be our last increase row. So for round 13, we are going to do 1 single crochet in the first 5, and then 2 in the next. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 in the next stitch. Alright, so again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then 2 in the next. 1 and 2. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then 2 in the next. 1 and 2. I'll meet you for rounds 14 through 20. Alright, so at the end of round 13, you should have 49 stitches. Yes, an odd number, 49. Alright, so next is rounds 14 through 20, and all that is going to be is 1 single crochet in each stitch around. I'll do row 14 with you, and then I'll meet you for 21. Just 1 single crochet in each stitch around for rows 14 through 20. Not rows, rounds. Sorry. Coming up on the end of 14. Alright, so I will meet you back for round 21. And rows 14 through 20, you should still have 49 stitches. Alright, round 21. This is going to be our first decrease round. This is its little belly. So for round 21, we are going to be doing 1 single crochet in the first 5 stitches and then a decrease in the next. Now I will show you how to do 2 different decreases in case it doesn't matter which one you use. It's whatever you're most comfortable with. Even if you don't use either one that I show, it's fine. Alright, so 1 single crochet in the first 5, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright, now the decrease is going to be over these 2 stitches. The first way I'm going to show you is where you can draw up the loops. You go in the front loop and then you yarn over and draw up a loop. Go in the next stitch, yarn over and draw up a loop. You got 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all of them. Now that's a decrease, or you can do it this way. Now this one is called an invisible decrease. You just put your hook under the first loop, your hook under the second loop, yarn over, pull through both of them. You got 2 loops, yarn over, and make a single crochet. And then there's also a different way, but that's just like decreasing 2 stitches together, which you would go through the whole thing and draw up a loop, go through the whole next stitch, draw up a loop, and that, but it makes 2 really big holes, so I'm not gonna do that. But I'm gonna do the invisible decrease, the one I just showed over here. But this is what we're going to repeat for this round. 1 single crochet in each of the 5 stitches and then a decrease. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and a decrease. And you repeat that around. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and a decrease. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a decrease. Did I do that right? I think I messed up there. Sorry about that. Okay, so that was the last decrease. Need 1 more single crochet. I'm getting ahead of myself. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now the decrease. I am so sorry if I confused anyone. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now a decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Decrease. Should be the last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You should have 2 stitches left for a decrease. Alright, that completes round 21. You should have 42 stitches. Round 22 is 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So you should still have 42 stitches at the end of this round. Ah, that's caught on something. Okay, back at it. Okay, almost done. All right, round 23. It's another decrease. We are going to do 4 single crochets, then a decrease. So 1 single in the first 4 stitches, and then a decrease. And that's what you're going to repeat around. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, decrease. I'm almost around. 1, 2, 3, 4, decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, decrease. One more time. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and a decrease. Alright, so at the end of round 23, you should have 35 stitches. Now, we're going to do one more row, and then we're going to put the plastic canvas and start stuffing and put the beans. So make sure you have those handy. Alright, so round 24 is going to be one single crochet in each stitch around. And you should still have 35 stitches at the end of this row. At the end of this round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35. Alright, so looks like a little vase, huh? Kinda a little pot. Alright, so we need the plastic canvas piece. We're gonna need the beans. And with this being a little smaller, we may not have to use all the bag of beans, but you never know. Everyone's is probably going to be different sizes due to tension, due to size of yarn, and how you crochet. So, we also will need a darning needle. So, what I like to do with the plastic canvas is I'm going to thread my inside tail onto the yarn needle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find almost the middle and shove my yarn through that and push the canvas down inside and kind of work it to where it will get flat. And if you have to, scrunch that piece down. And then I'm going to thread it through to the other side and kind of hold the plastic canvas piece to the bottom. So kind of doing like that and going through the crochet stitches like this from the inside to the outside to kind of sew it into place. And once you get it just snug enough to where it will sit against here, you know, maybe a couple of stitches through in different directions. You just kind of pull it snug and just take it and leave it on the inside. And it will help hold this piece flat on the bottom, so it sits flat. All right, now we will also need some of the stuffing. All right, so take some of your stuffing, a very, very thin layer, and we're going to try to make a little pocket around the bottom for the beans to lay inside. And just kind of push it against the canvas and against the sides. And then we're going to place the beans on top of that. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a real thin layer up towards the sides, around the sides too. And what I like to do is kind of rub that so it kind of stays a little together. When I first pull it off, I just kind of, it flattens it out and makes it stick to itself. Okay, now we have kind of like created a little dip for the beans to sit in. So you won't see the little bags through the outside of the crochet. If yours is a little bigger, you might only need 2 of these. I mean, if your bunny is a little bigger and you have more room, I would put all 3. But this feels weighted enough with just 2. Maybe if I get up a little bit further, I'll put the 3rd one in there. Yeah, I think I will. But I want to make sure I have enough room to crochet first. So, all right. So now we are going to, I'm going to set the beans off to the side, I think, for a minute. Except for one. So it don't completely fall out when I'm showing y'all. Alrighty. On to the next. We are on round 25. And we're going to be doing a kind of like a repeat of a decrease we have already done. It helps increase it even more. I mean, decrease it, sorry. Decrease it even more. So we are going to be doing 1 single crochet in the first 5 stitches and then a decrease. So 1, better yet, let's do this, row 25. So you know what row you're on. Sorry about that. Okay, so 1 single crochet in the first 5 stitches, decrease in the next. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and a decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, decrease. Last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in the last 2, a decrease. All right, at the end of round 25, you should have 30 stitches around. We're going to start row 26. All right, rows 26 through 29 is going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch around. And you're going to have 30 stitches each round. All right, so finish the few rows of 27, 28, and 29. 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and I'll meet you back for round 30, and that will decrease for the head, for the neck area. All right, now we are, before we continue on with round 30, we're going to insert the beans and more stuffing, if you haven't done so already. I'm going to go ahead and put all 3. And then I'm going to put stuffing on top and try to fill out the sides around the beans. You don't want to overstuff because that will make your stitches wider. So just kind of lightly stuff to help fill out the little belly. And then kind of shape it if you have to. And from this point, you're going to stuff as you go. Like, do a couple of rows and then stuff it. And then do a couple of rows and stuff it. I think that's good for right now. Okay. So I'm going to set my extra stuffing to the side. But as you can see, it's fairly the same shape all the way around. Now for round 30, we are going to decrease in every stitch around. So I believe you'll have 30 stitches now, and by the time we do decreases all the way around, you should have 15. So we're going to decrease the whole row, because this is going to make the neck. And I believe it's going to be 15 decreases, because you're decreasing 2 stitches at a time. And there's 30, so if you do the math, that's 15 decreases, because you'll have 15 stitches left. So just decrease all the way around. Okay, last 2 stitches. Alright, I'm going to add a little more stuffing. I'm going to also count my stitches real quick to make sure it's the right amount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so I'm going to also add a little bit more stuffing. Okay. All right. Round 31, we are going to increase for the head. All right, so we are going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch. So we're going to increase now. So in each stitch, you're going to put 2 single crochets. Okay, so I'm going to keep continuing on and doing the 2 singles in each stitch, and I'll meet you at the end. Alright, at the end of round 31, you should be back at 30 single crochets, 30 stitches. Round 32, we're going to increase again. So this is going to be 1 single crochet in the first 4. 2, 3, and 4, and an increase in the next. And that's what we're going to repeat on this round. So 1 single crochet in 4 stitches, and then an increase, 2 singles in the next. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then an increase. And I'll meet you at the end. Alright, so at the end of round 32, you should have 36 stitches. Now, rounds 33 through 38 are going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch. But you will need a stitch marker handy to mark for the nose. And we are going to mark for the nose on round 36. So I will meet you back after. I'm going to do rounds 33 through 36, and then I will meet you back on 36 to mark for the nose. But you're just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch, and you should have 36 stitches at the end of each row. So I will meet you back at round 36. Alright, so I just finished round 36, and what we're going to do to mark where you need the nose is you're going to go from the left of your join. So there's my join right here, and we're going to count 15 stitches over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So that's my 15th one. I'm not going to put it through the stitch like this. I'm going to go through the 2 little legs underneath so I can still crochet in that stitch. Just like this. because you want to be able to crochet in that stitch. We're not going to put the nose in right now because obviously you're not going to be able to crochet with it. Now, what I like to do to keep this stitch marker from flopping around and getting in my way, I bring it up just a little and go through a different stitch to hold it down so it stays in place. Alright, so finish rounds 37 and 38. I will meet you back at row 38 to mark your stitches for your eyes. Alright, so I finished round 38 and we are going to mark the stitches for the eyes. So you'll need your other 2 stitch markers, and from the left of your join we are going to count the 14th and 17th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Same as before, if you want, stick it through another stitch to hold it down. Alright, so 14, 15, 16, and 17. And there we go. Alright, round 39 is going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch around. You should still have 36 stitches. This is the last row that's in before we start decreasing. So we're fixing to be almost done. So go ahead and do round 39, and I will meet you back for round 40. Alright, round 40. And this is going to be the first of a few decrease rows before we're done. So, round 40 is 1 single crochet in the first 4 stitches and a decrease in the next. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now a decrease. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, a decrease. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, decrease, and just repeat that around. Alright, for round 40, you should have 30 single crochets or 30 stitches. Now for round 41, we are going to do 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches and a decrease. 1, 2, 3, and a decrease. And repeat that around. 1, 2, 3, and a decrease. One, 2, 3, decrease. 1, 2, 3, decrease. 1, 2, 3, decrease. Should be the last time. 1, 2, 3, and a decrease. All right, at the end of 41, you should have 24 stitches. We're going to stop and put in the safety eyes and nose. All right, so you will need your backs to your safety nose and eyes. But first, you are going to need, I think we're going to do embroidery, the little mouth before we put the nose in, because it's going to go right under the nose and then come down like a little line. And then we're going to do like that. So before we even stuff the rest of the head, let's go ahead and embroider the nose. So take your yarn needle and go from the inside out and go into the stitch that it is marked for the nose. And bring most of the yarn tail and stuff it inside where you have a pretty good amount in there so it won't come out. And we're going to shove it into the neck down there, and we're going to add a little bit of stuffing on top of it to hold it in there. Okay, so, and then it will keep that yarn tail in that area. You don't want to overstuff the neck, but stuff it enough to where, you know, the yarn tail is not going to move. Because we also want that to stay indented. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make the little line down, and you're just going to go from one stitch down, one row down, and then we're going to come back up through the head. And that's going to create a little line. Kind of pull it tight, but not too much. All right, now we are going to go about 3 or 4, about 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. I might do 4. I'm going to go 4 stitches over, so count from the middle underneath. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the other side of it. And we're going to pull it through, and we're going to go under this little line. And then we're going to count 4 stitches over from the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, and go in. Okay. Now we are going to get the nose. Take this stitch marker out. And put the nose in. And put the back on. Okay, so we have that done. Now we are going to put the eyes on. And take the stitch marker out once you get it in there. Actually, I'm going to put the back on. Oops. Sorry, hit my tripod. Okay. Now the other eye. For some reason, that other back didn't want to go on these eyes. Alright. Hopefully that one's on there good enough. And there's his little face. Now, we are going to try to tighten that up a little. Well, alright, and about leave that much of a tail, snip it, and we're going to shove it inside. And now we're going to add some more stuffing to cover that tail. Okay. Alright, round 42. Alright, so round 42 is going to be 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches and a decrease in the next. So 1, 2, and a decrease. And that's what we're going to repeat around. 1, 2, and a decrease. 1, 2, decrease. 1, 2, decrease. 1, 2, decrease. And the last time, 1, 2, decrease. All right. At the end of round 42, you should have 18 stitches. Round 43, we are going to do 1 single crochet and then a decrease. So 1 and a decrease all the way around. Whoops. There I go doing the other decrease. Okay, 1 and a decrease. 1 and a decrease. One and a decrease. You should have 3 stitches at the end. 1 and a decrease. All right, you should have 12 stitches now around. I'm going to add some more stuffing and be back for the last round, which is round 44. All right, so for round 44, we are going to decrease all the way around. So I believe that's 6 decreases we're going to end up having to do. All right, so 1 decrease, number 2 decrease, number 3, number 4 decrease, number 5, number 6. All right. Now, if you do need to add any more stuffing, I would do it now. I am not going to join on this last run. I am going to pull about that much yarn and snip my yarn. I'm going to take my yarn needle, and also I'm going to pull that tail completely through, and so you should have 6 stitches now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the yarn needle and thread it, and I'm going to add a little more stuffing real quick. And notice this part's kind of drooping a little. Okay, maybe a tad bit more before I close it completely. There we go. All right. So, if you find your first stitch here, you are going to go just under the front loops, just like this. Alright, I had a mishap with my phone storage, and I did not realize it did not show me closing this up. So, I made this little bitty piece. This is to represent the head. It has 6 stitches, just like the top of the head did. And I finished it just like how, you know, we pulled the string out and started to go into the first stitch. Alright, so what we're going to do to close up the top of the head is you're going to go into the front loop of each of the 6 remaining stitches. Do not pull them too tight, and just weave in through the front loop. Alright, now that you have them, we're going to pull them closed. And it's going to look a little different because it's not the actual top of the head. You're going to look at where the string falls. So it's going to go this way. So hold your string down and go in wherever it is setting. And you're going to go through the side. Until it lays flat. And then to weave in your tail, you're going to look and find where your stitch is, where it's coming through, and you're going to make it look just like another stitch. Don't pull too tight. Pull it just enough to where it kind of looks like a stitch. And then weave it in again. Don't pull too tight, just enough to where it looks like a stitch. Now on this last one, you're going to pull it pretty tight, and it's going to indent like that. So what we're going to do is you're going to take your yarn needle off and stick it where it is indented. And you're going to turn it and cut the yarn as close as you can. And we're going to lift that stitch upward. And that will pull that yarn tail in. And that's how you close up the head. And part 1 of the cowl is done. You have your body and your head. So part 2 is going to be arms and legs. Part 3 is the ears and the tail and assembly. And if you want to make a necklace for the rabbit, we will do that on part 4. Part 3 as well. Sorry about that. Part 3 as well. But you are done with the biggest part of the cowl. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Take care and stay safe.